What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I'm your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 59. Yes, we are. We are at episode 59. Let's give it a round of applause for that. Yep. Get a nice little drink. Episode 59, we are. Like always, if you ever disagree with anything I said, please let me know so we can have a discussion about it. Good morning. Yes, it is Saturday, October 25th, 8:30. We got a lot of things to talk about. We had a big Philadelphia drug bust. 33 people were indicted. We got a crazy semi-truck crash the criminal was in court. A lot of things, gambling scandals going on in the NBA. And just a lot of crazy things. We also going to talk about measles. It's like measles cases are on the rise. Thank you for the congratulations. Thank you. We're going to keep going. We're going to do something special for episode 100. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something. You know how I like to do it. I like to get right to it. Let's get right to it. The first thing we're going to talk about today, the very first thing, is the 33 people were indicted in the Philadelphia drug bust. Yeah, so we got 2 videos to watch of that. So let's get over into it and see what all that's talking about and see what we can learn from the situation. Let's jump into it.
Developing tonight, an historic drug bust, part of a nearly decades-long investigation with the FBI, right? In Kensington, and the director of the FBI says this is the largest takedown he's ever seen, and everyone should be paying attention.
We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities, and our children are safer today.
The bust happened in the area of Clearfield and F Streets. Our Chris O'Connell has been following this story since it broke this morning. And Chris, this could change everything.
That is right, Dawn. What has been described as one of the most prolific drug trafficking organizations in Kensington has now been eliminated, according to the FBI. 33 people have been indicted on drug trafficking charges targeting Philadelphia's most notorious opioid operation.
Now, I do have a question. They said that it's been eliminated, but only 33 people are arrested. If that's one of the most prolific criminal drug organizations, only 33 people is going to be eliminated. But let's keep going. Hear what they got to say.
FBI agents surrounding several homes on the 3100 block of Weymouth Street after an early morning federal raid across several Kensington blocks.
Occupants of 726 Clearfield, this is the FBI. Come out in the front door with your hands up.
Video shows agents busting into several homes on the block. Loudspeakers were heard, demanding suspects come out. The entire neighborhood blocked off with hundreds of law enforcement. And about 8 hours later, officials say they dismantled a decade-long, 24-hour open-air drug market at the epicenter of Kensington.
This is exactly how you safeguard American lives. You go after the organizations that are inflicting pain across America.
FBI Director Kash Patel announcing the indictment of the Weymouth Street drug gang. The 170-page indictment outlined how the gang was run by 2 main leaders, identified as Jose Antonio Morales Nieves and Roman Montañez. The indictment says they flaunted their enterprise like a successful business, even writing down work schedules for dealers and lookouts.
It's a new age. It is a new age. They even got work schedules. You know, people love to do the mocking with the guns. They love to do that, showing off their wealth. And you even got drug schedules. Let's go back a little bit to the drug schedule. Yeah, work schedules. Like a 9 to 5. I mean, I guess it's a 24-hour shift, but yeah. Let's keep going.
Schedules for dealers and lookouts. Of the 33 indicted, 29 are now in custody.
This indictment alleges that the Weymouth Street drug trafficking organization, for nearly a decade, sold and distributed substantial volumes of fentanyl, crack cocaine, cocaine, and heroin.
The FBI is still collecting evidence, but say they've already confiscated drugs and dozens of guns.
These are federal offenses. They're going into federal court to be handled by someone I know who's going to take the appropriate action to address this behavior.
It's one of those few cases which, if successful, will eliminate an entire criminal outfit. It will clean and cleanse a whole neighborhood and will virtually eradicate a violent drug trafficking organization root and stem.
The U.S. Attorney says it's the largest indictment of its kind in over a century. They say it's what can happen when you unleash multiple layers of law enforcement on a single issue. Philly's top cop says there's more to come.
And I will say to anyone out there, we're not done.
Now, this federal raid went down just a block away from where there's a Fall Children's Festival block party scheduled for starting just about now. People and police say there is no doubt that party is a bit safer tonight.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video, see if we can learn anything else about it. Give it a play. Come on now. I don't know why my internet messing up. What's my internet doing? Hold on. Technical difficulties. Let's get over into it. Man, everything's connected.
NBC 10 breaking news.
That we are reclaiming these neighborhoods for the people who live and work here. We are taking back what the defendants are alleged to have stolen from the community, which is peace, prosperity, law, and order.
20 minutes of nonstop news begins with taking down a network of drugs and guns in Philadelphia. New photos show the subjects of a massive FBI operation that you saw unfolding as breaking news at 11 a.m. Federal agents are now calling it the largest federal indictment this century in this district. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jacqueline London.
I'm Tracy Davidson. The operation unfolded in the heart of Kensington, where the opioid crisis has destroyed lives and neighborhoods for years. NBC 10's Kelsey Kushner is joining us live with new details just revealed by the FBI and city officials. Kelsey?
Well, the FBI is calling this indictment historic, saying it is the largest drug takedown in the Eastern District. They said today they have 33 people indicted in this case, and they said that they are not stopping anytime soon. The FBI Director Kash Patel was here today with Philadelphia police to announce this indictment. They say 33 people have been indicted in New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Puerto Rico following a raid targeting the Weymouth Street drug trafficking organization. They say 22 arrests were made this morning. The U.S. State's Attorney for the Eastern District, David Metcalf, says this was a drug trafficking conspiracy dating back to 2016 involving large amounts of fentanyl, crack cocaine, and heroin on the 3100 block of Weymouth. He says the two at the top, Jose Antonio Morales Nieves and Ramon Montañez, ran their operation like a business, using violence, weapons, and intimidation to peddle in poison to neighborhoods in Kensington.
Absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Diabolical that someone's going to be bringing in fentanyl. They said this was going to be right next to a child block party that's happening. Some people just don't care about the community. Some people don't care about the community that they're staying in. Absolutely tragic. Let's keep going.
This case takes place at the crossroads of drugs and violence, and we are all here with a loud and unmistakable message that we are reclaiming these neighborhoods for the people who live and work here. We are taking back what the defendants are alleged to have stolen from the community, which is peace, prosperity, law, and order.
We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities, and our children are safer today.
Police, along with the 22 people arrested this morning, 8 additional defendants are already in custody, but the work continues. They say they are still searching for 3 more people. Reporting live in North Philadelphia, Kelsey Kushner, NBC 10 News.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely crazy. Some people don't care. Some people truly do not care about what the community does. They just don't care. They will destroy it from the inside. Truly tragic. But we have to keep reviewing the world. We got to review the world together. We got to go through so we can bring awareness to what's happening. I'm happy that people were arrested, and they say the fight is not over. And the fight is not over. We got to go. It's different communities, people suffering all around the world, all around the United States, and then all around the world. Absolutely tragic. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all. It is a crazy world. But now we got to pivot over into the SoCal. So we had a SoCal deadly semi-truck crash. People are questioning. He's in court now. People are questioning how he got his CDL. A lot of questions. We know we talked about this before. Illegal migrant got a CDL, caused a crash. Deadly crash. But let's get into it. Let's get into it so we can find out all the information. We got 3 videos to look at. So let's see what all of this is about, and see if we can learn anything about this.
Shock and sadness. That's how some people who knew the victims of that deadly chain reaction crash in Ontario are describing the tragedy.
This is dash cam video from inside the red big rig as the driver plowed into multiple vehicles. 3 people were killed. Jashanpreet Singh was the driver of that semi. He's accused of driving under the influence and being in the U.S. illegally. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez is live in Rancho Cucamonga with the details.
Well, Javon, I can tell you there is actually some dispute over his actual status here in the country, with the Trump administration saying that he was illegal, but according to California Transportation saying that his status here was actually legal. So we're still trying to learn more about that. As for Singh himself, he is expected to be in a courtroom tomorrow where he'll be arraigned on charges related to that fatal crash. We're also hearing that one of the victims was a beloved coach from Pomona.
Dashcam video captures the moment of impact that killed 3 people and injured 4 others Tuesday afternoon.
That is crazy. No sign of stopping, under the influence. Absolutely crazy.
The driver, identified as Jashanpreet Singh, was arrested at the crash site and is now facing charges of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and driving under the influence causing injury. According to DMV records, Singh did have a valid commercial driver's license to operate a semi-truck.
Our understanding is he had a valid commercial driver's license, and we are going to find out. We're going to do an investigation to understand if he committed fraud to get it or if someone at the DMV helped him get it.
The San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office says eyewitnesses and dashcam video show Singh traveling at a high rate of speed into stopped traffic along the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario, causing a chain reaction crash. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security has also issued an immigration arrest detainer on Singh, who they say entered the U.S. illegally from India in 2022. Of the 3 people killed was former Pomona High School Red Devils assistant basketball coach Clarence Nelson and his wife Lisa. The 76-year-old memorialized in a post to the high school's Facebook page, which read, "Rest in peace, Coach Nelson and his wife." Outside their home, flowers were delivered. A woman inside confirmed she is related to Coach Nelson but didn't want to speak on camera. A neighbor said he was unaware the tragedy involved his next-door neighbors.
Didn't even stop. I feel sorry for what happened to those people. And now to find out it's my next-door neighbors, part of their family. It's hard to believe.
Now, Governor Gavin Newsom's office is pushing back on claims that California somehow allowed Singh to obtain a license, saying the state does not determine commercial driver's license eligibility. In a statement saying, quote, the federal government approved and renewed this individual's federal employment authorization multiple times, which allowed him to obtain a commercial driver's license in accordance with federal law. Now, according to the California State Department of Transportation, they also tell us that Singh was issued a federal work authorization until 2030, and the driver's license was a federal real ID, which was that he was entitled to due to his government confirmation of his legal status. Now, again, Singh will be in court tomorrow. He's currently being held on no bail. Reporting.
A lot of questions, a lot of questions. First of all, we got to make sure we pray for all the family, because you never know when your time is going to be your last. Just driving along. Absolutely tragic. Let's get over into this next video that gives us a little bit more details about this. Let's get over into it. We get to see him in court.
Details about the undocumented driver charged in connection to that deadly chain reaction crash in Ontario.
Well, today, the driver made his first appearance before a judge, pleading not guilty. And Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez is live with details and how he was able to legally get a commercial driver's license. Leticia.
Well, David, I can tell you this. Singh was able to obtain his commercial driver's license through both state and federal processes that were in place at the time for him to do so. Those processes, though, changed on a federal level back on September 26th, just about a month ago. And it was then that he was able to obtain a credible, valid driver's license. But now he stands accused, of course, of manslaughter while driving intoxicated.
Shackled and wearing an orange jail jumpsuit, 21-year-old Jashinpreet Singh appeared in a Rancho Cucamonga courtroom to face charges of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and driving under the influence causing injury. Dashcam video shows the horrifying moment. Investigators say Singh, behind the wheel of a Freightliner truck, plowed through several stopped cars, killing 3 people. In court.
Now, I got a question. They have defense attorneys and all that good stuff. What kind of defense can you give this? Like, what? They're going to have to really work for their money. Because I don't understand what kind of defense can even play into this. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But let's keep going. We don't want to stop it too much. Let's keep going. Back it up just a tad bit.
Killing 3 people. In court, Singh pled not guilty through his public defender with an interpreter by his side. Now federal officials say this tragedy
can't even speak English?
Never should have happened. The Department of Transportation released what it is calling a, quote, bombshell report, accusing California of violating federal law by allowing Singh to continue driving when he should have been disqualified. The report says that the state failed to enforce an emergency rule issued in September, one that tightened license requirements for all non-U.S. citizens. In June, California issued Singh, who is an asylum seeker, a restricted non-domicile commercial driver's license with a K restriction limiting driving to in-state. Then in September, the federal government paused all issuances of non-domicile CDLs. In October, Singh turned 21, and his K restriction was removed, which DOT officials say if California had followed the new rule, Singh's license would have been denied because of his status as an asylum seeker. Governor Gavin Newsom's office pushing back on those claims in a statement saying the federal government approved and renewed this individual's federal employment authorization multiple times, which allowed him to obtain a commercial driver's license in accordance with federal law. According to the California State Department of Transportation, Singh was issued a federal work permit until the year. But a mere 4 months after receiving his CDL to operate a semi, Singh could be facing years behind bars.
Now, the Department of Transportation is threatening to withhold nearly $40 million in funding for California if the state does not start complying with some of those new rules that have been put in place since September, while Singh will be back in court here on November 4th. Reporting in Rancho Cucamonga, Leticia Juarez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's get into this last video and find out what we can see. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Wrong thing. Hold on, y'all. There it is. Get into it.
Tonight, the Department of Homeland Security posting disturbing video of a semi-truck as it slammed into multiple vehicles on a California highway. Authorities say the man behind the wheel, 21-year-old Jashanpreet Singh, pleaded not guilty today to vehicular manslaughter while driving under the influence. Police say his big rig slammed into traffic at high speed, sparking an 8-car chain reaction crash, killing 3 people. Among the victims, a Pomona High School basketball coach and his wife. Homeland Security officials say Singh was in the U.S. illegally, crossing the southern border in 2022 and released into the country by the Biden administration, though the California DMV says they were told he had legal status. And it follows another deadly crash in Florida, where authorities say this big rig made a reckless U-turn, causing a collision with a van. 3 people were killed. Driver Harjinder Singh was also in the U.S. illegally, according to DHS, and faces 3 counts of vehicular homicide. He's pleaded not guilty. The Florida Attorney General says Singh failed his driving test.
See, I got questions. How do they plead not guilty? What do you mean? What are you not guilty of? It's on tape. It's on tape. There's nothing else you can say about it. Let's keep going.
10 times in 2 months, but eventually got a California commercial driver's license. Florida officials say he could only answer 2 of 12 verbal questions correctly. The Trump administration now investigating.
If you can't understand English, you can't understand road signs, how in the heck can you ever pass a test to be issued a commercial driver's license?
A lot of good
you
questions.
Can't do it but for fraud.
And we know tonight that Florida is asking the Supreme Court to stop California and Washington state from issuing these commercial driver's licenses to people in the country illegally. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated.
A lot of good questions. They had a lot of good questions. A lot of things I want to know the answer to. How do you issue a commercial driver's license to someone, first of all, who can't even speak English? I don't think it's wrong that an immigrant comes over to the country, takes the proper training, and then takes the proper training here, gets issued a license. They're allowed to be here. They come in legally and all that good stuff. That's perfectly fine. But first, someone comes in illegally and then they can't even speak the English. If I go over to another country and I want to drive semi-trucks, drive commercial vehicles, even just myself, I would want to know the language. I think I should know the language before they even let me drive a semi-truck. But hey, it's what they decided. It's cost some people their lives. At the end of the day, we got to pray for the people who lost their lives. It's a tragic situation that shouldn't have happened. It could have been avoided. But it's absolutely crazy. And let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know how much time you think they should get. And then why is all of this? They plead. I guess just our court law, our judicial system. They have the right to plead whatever they want to, but at some point you should just, like, if it's caught on camera, just plead, just do no contest. Like, no, you got me. There's nothing else to do. Why are you wasting taxpayers' money going through all this? But it's a crazy world. Now we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot over into. Let's see what we're going to. We're going to what? No, you're not. Let's see. We're gonna pivot into. Oh, I seen this pop up on my page that we had to talk about. So it looks like in Houston, a lot of things are happening in Houston. Looks like a man was found hanging and set on fire under the freeway. You can't make this stuff up. You truly can't make this stuff up. We got 2 videos to look at. So let's get over into it and see what we can learn about this situation. It's tragic, absolutely tragic. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Jalissa. And now we want to warn you, this next story, hard to hear. A man's body found hanging underneath the East Loop. It happened late last night. Our Ogochi Iloka joining us near the scene along Kirkpatrick Boulevard. And Ogochi, details from the story even more grim.
Sadly, that's correct. We're told that the man's body was actually on fire when it was found last night in this spot where officials say They only later realized it was a man's body that was on fire and dangling from a rope on the underside of this 610 freeway. This is video of officers just after 10 p.m. last night looking around after HFD responded to a fire here near the 5,000 block of Kirkpatrick and 610. It was Union Pacific employees who first found the scene and called Houston firefighters, first reporting that this was a brush fire. However, that was not the case. Officials say when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered it was a man's body partially set ablaze and hanging from a rope. HPD says those firefighters got the fire out, but the man did not survive. A lieutenant investigating the tragedy says a homeless encampment is here too, but they aren't sure where the man was initially set on fire. She tells us she doesn't think his death was a suicide.
If he's not just hanging, it's like there's also the fire.
I mean, that should be obvious to me. Come on now. He's hanging and he's set on fire. Don't even mention suicide. Don't even mention it. Let's keep
So
going.
then it's like, well, what actually killed him? We don't know that. I mean, of course, that'll be something that, detectives and after the autopsy report comes out.
And the lieutenant you just heard from there says, unfortunately, there were no witnesses around when they first responded to the scene. If you know anything about this investigation or have information, you're asked to please call Houston Police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting in Northeast Houston, Ugochi Iloka, KHOU 11 News.
That is wild. Someone just hanging. First of all, they didn't even think it was a body at first, a human body. Someone just hanging set on fire. Let's keep going. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can find out.
Now to a disturbing story that broke overnight. A man found hanging from an overpass and burned at 610 and Kirkpatrick. Now HPD homicide detectives are investigating a case with more questions than answers. KPRC2's Devin Clark went out there to see what he could find out.
Today you can see what's left behind, a pile of burned rubble directly underneath a rope hanging from that underpass. This area appears to be a homeless encampment, but we are still waiting on the identity of the person who was found set on fire, hanged here. We're also trying to determine who did it.
I mean, we're kind of like in a bad area of town. I mean, for everybody. Daylight is cool, but when it gets dark, you might want to get in the house.
It was around 10:10 last night when officials were called to 7600 North Loop East. It appears a man in his 40s or 50s had been hanged and set on fire. Houston police say his identity is pending notification to his family.
I was amazed by how bad the crime has been in areas that I live at.
While investigators say the man did suffer burns to his body, his cause of death is pending. This morning, the investigation into who may have killed him continued.
The police pulled up and they walked over there behind that wall, but then they walked right back, got in their car and burned off.
Houston police need your help putting together the puzzle pieces in this case. If you have any information, you're asked to give them a call. You can also call Crime Stoppers. You will remain anonymous and you could be eligible for a reward of up to $5,000. That number, 713-222-TIPS. Reporting from under 610 near Kirkpatrick, Devin Clark, KPRC2 News.
Absolutely crazy. It's a crazy situation. Not much details are known about it. So let's get over into this article. One of the most recent articles I can find about it. Let's get into it. The body of a man was discovered hanging from a rope while on fire near the homeless encampment in Northeast Houston. The victim, who was not immediately identified, was found around 10 p.m. on Thursday beneath an underpass of 7600 North Loop East, following reports of brush fire, police said early on Friday. Responding firefighters extinguished the blaze and found the man's body. Officers were informed that the male was hanging underneath the middle of the overpass and has suffered burns to his body. So it's being investigated by homicide police. It is unclear whether the victim, who is believed to be between 40 and 50 years old, has been set on fire at the nearby homeless encampment or directly beneath the overpass. An autopsy conducted by Harris County Institute of Forensic Science is expected to determine the cause of death, but said that it's highly unlikely, almost impossible, that the incident was a suicide. If we use our common sense, there's no way that this can be a suicide. No way. Truly no way. And then people talking about it's a bad area. I'm happy that people actually say that, because every time I'll be watching these news articles, people love to say, "Oh, it never happens for this area. Never happens for this area." But gotta be careful out there, y'all. We gotta be careful. Keep your head on the swivel. It's a tragic situation that someone lost their life. Hopefully, we find out more information about it. Absolutely crazy. Hanging and burning underneath a freeway. It's a terrible way to go. Terrible way to go. Can't imagine what he must have been going through. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's make sure there's nothing else we find. Let's see who was surrounded. 40 to 50 investigators said. Yes, all the same things. All the same things. So that is the most recent information on that whole situation. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know how you feel about that situation. It's a scary world. It can be a scary world. We talk about a lot of crazy things. But we got to keep reviewing the world together. Have to keep reviewing the world together. Absolutely tragic. Let's pivot. Let's pivot now. We're going to pivot over into, we got to talk about the NBA. We got to talk about the NBA. If you've probably seen it, but the whole NBA gambling scandal. Yes, there's an NBA gambling scandal. So let's get over into that and see what we can find out about it. I haven't watched too much about it, but let's get into it and see what our thoughts are.
It has been called one of the largest sports corruption cases in modern history. The FBI announced today more than 30 people, including NBA stars and coaches, have been indicted in a massive gambling scheme. According to the feds, it involves mob connections, rigged poker games, and insider sports bets. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel live in studio with the details. Casey.
Hey, Steve, good evening. Federal prosecutors say two separate schemes were at play. An insider sports betting operation and rigged poker games. Both feature big NBA names, including a former player for the Dallas Mavericks. Two indictments, more than 30 defendants, including Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, and former Cleveland Cavaliers assistant coach Damon Jones, who also played for the Dallas Mavs for one season in 1999.
This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
The first case, an insider betting conspiracy. Authorities say Rozier and Jones funneled confidential NBA injury and lineup details to gamblers, generating huge profits. In one example from the paperwork, Rozier allegedly alerted friends he'd exit a game early, allowing bets to be placed on his performance before anyone else knew.
Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance.
A second indictment involves a widespread poker game rigging scheme. Federal prosecutors say the mob even backed it, using celebrity names like Billups and Jones to lure victims to poker tables, only to be cheated out of an estimated $7 million by hidden technology like altered shuffling machines and X-ray equipment.
Beginning as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States.
Chauncey Billups was taken into custody in Portland Thursday and later released, though the terms of his bond were not disclosed. Terry Rozier was arrested in Florida, where a judge said he could post his home as bond and must surrender his passport. Rozier's attorney releasing a statement to Fox saying Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight.
There's a lot of things talking about now. It's obvious that is the most lucrative, is when they was talking about the poker. Then they're talking about scamming the poker, and then also going through and texting your friends, "Oh yeah, I'm about to get out of the game," so they can play some bets. End of the day, this is why I don't gamble. This is why I don't gamble. At least not on sports, at least. I don't sport. I do some cards, but when I do it, I go to Vegas. I go to Vegas, but they might be cheating me too. You never know when you are getting cheated when you're gambling. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Rozier and Billups, the two still currently active in the NBA, were both placed on administrative leave Thursday. The league says it will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. So the NBA Players Union says that it will ensure that its members are afforded their rights to due process. Federal officials say the investigation is still active and even more names could eventually surface.
More people are coming out. More people are going to get named in this scandal. Let's get over into this next video.
Keeps going up, and we now know who's helping to fund the massive project. Now on the news at 10. Good evening, I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Rick Chambers. Micah has this night off. The NBA should be celebrating the beginning of a new season. Instead, over 30 current and former players are facing federal charges tonight across 2 illegal gambling scandals.
And one of those probes includes, but does not directly involve, Lakers star LeBron James. That case involves LeBron's former teammate trading inside information for a cut of gamblers' winnings. The other involves rigged poker games backed by New York mafia families.
All right, let's go right to Chris Wolf. He's got details and reaction. He's live outside the Crypto.com arena tonight. Chris?
Yeah, Rick and Cher, as you explained, even the Lakers have been dragged into this scandal. Mob families working with the NBA, X-ray poker tables. Sounds like a bunch of far-fetched fantasy from a James Bond film, but authorities say this is all too real.
I'll do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may.
And the chips have fallen badly for Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, named in sweeping federal illegal gambling cases announced Thursday in New York. Prosecutors accuse Billups and 30 others of participating in schemes to make big money off unsuspecting high rollers and online sports betting companies. Investigators say members of the mafia worked with former and current professional basketball players to profit from rigged poker games. Sports stars were used to lend credibility to those games, according to government officials.
The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling.
Rigged shuffling machines that could read the cards in the deck and predict which player had the best hand were only part of the arsenal of high-tech tools and tricks used by defendants, according to court documents, which
more technology makes it easier for people to scam. Reading the cards as being shuffled out. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going.
Detail poker chip trays with hidden cameras and cards with markings visible only to people wearing special contact lenses. And we should mention X-ray poker tables that can read cards face down on them. Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat was the only active NBA player named in the indictments. Prosecutors say in 2023, Rozier left a game early, complaining of foot discomfort. They say he told a friend he'd be leaving the game early so that friend and others could bet hundreds of thousands of dollars on his underperformance for the Charlotte Hornets at the time.
There's a lot of people that are very close-lipped about what happened in 2023, but what I was told is there was an investigation. They interviewed him twice. They took his phone, downloaded everything, and at the end of the day, they said there's nothing to see here.
Reaction to the sweeping federal cases with Elizabeth Vargas of News Nation.
You have millions of Americans now risking their mortgage payments on the outcome of games, and more specifically, the outcome of a single player's performance in a singular game. So if we're going to now question the outcome of those performances because of a situation like this, it's the biggest nightmare for professional sports.
Now he said something that we need to bring attention to. First of all, if you're risking your mortgage, anything like that, your mortgage, your livelihood to try to make some bets, you have a problem. If you lose a bet and you lose everything, you have a problem. We need to talk about that. You have a problem. Gambling addiction is a serious problem. Go seek help. Please go seek help. If you end up trying to bet your kid's college fund, come on now. We have to do better. We have to do better. But let's keep going and finish up this video.
And according to federal investigators, Lakers star LeBron James has been swept up in the gambling schemes, with defendants giving up secret insider information about his injury status for profit. James is considered a potential victim of the criminal activity, not a participant. Live in downtown Los Angeles, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
All right.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely crazy situation. It's a lot of things to talk about. We got a lot of things to talk about. The mafia links to the poker games. So much new technology out there. They had X-ray tables. Tables when you have your cards face down. They can still see what your card is. Contact lenses that see exactly what card you got when you're holding it. Automatic shuffling machines that reads the card and tells it, and just you put in. I'm assuming you just put in how many people at the table. Be like player 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, player 4 has an ace of diamonds. All that. New technology, higher AI potential opens up. Easier cheating. More scams. You have to be careful. Truly have to be careful. Don't go out here betting your home on some sports bets. Come on now. You've all felt it. If whoever's, because I don't gamble on sports anymore. Because I've gambled like a few times just on the little small bets. Nothing crazy now. But it always feels like, especially when you betting the legs. Oh my God, no. Just be careful, y'all. If you have a problem where you can't stop, please go seek help. The Gamblers Hotline is available for people. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree on anything. What do you think about this whole situation? Are you a gambler? Are you scared that you might be getting scammed out? I mean, I think every time I lose my money, I'm thinking I'm getting scammed out. My thing is I like blackjack. When I go to Vegas, blackjack. That is my thing. Everything else, I don't know anything about it, but blackjack is easy. You look at the basic strategy, and then you play it. You add to 21. That is the goal. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation, and let me know how you feel about it. Absolutely wow, y'all. Absolutely wow. And this is why we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. But let's pivot over into, we got a murder-suicide. We have a murder-suicide, 3 dead, and a murder-suicide that we need to get over into and talk about, see what it's about. We got 2 videos, so let's jump over into it. See what we can learn.
Authorities up in Montgomery County will continue their investigation this morning after 3 people, including a child, were found dead outside of a home near Conroe.
KPRC 2 News reporter TJ Parker is live outside of the sheriff's office. TJ, good morning. What are you working to learn this morning?
Yeah, good morning, guys. There are still a lot of unanswered questions in this, especially with this case here in Montgomery County involving a child. We're still trying to figure out the names of the people involved, as well as what led up to this shooting. But deputies here in Montgomery County tell us that they do believe that this was a murder-suicide. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office telling us, they say a family member made the heartbreaking discovery, calling 911 after finding a man, woman, and small child dead on the front porch of a home off a rural private road on Crystal Creek Road there. Now, deputies responded just before 4 Thursday afternoon, finding all 3 with gunshot wounds. Investigators say a weapon was also recovered at the scene. Crime scene teams spent hours gathering evidence. The sheriff's office is calling this an isolated incident, saying there's no ongoing threat to the public. At last check, the sheriff's office says they are still notifying family and, again, still trying to figure out what led up to this, trying to figure out the circumstances surrounding this murder or suicide. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from a neighbor who lives nearby and their concerns. We are live in Conroe this morning. I'm TJ Parker, KPRC 2 News.
All right, TJ, thank you.
Okay, that was a short video so we can get just a gist of everything, but let's get over into a longer video that tells us a little bit more details about this whole situation.
Police have now identified the Conroe man they say killed a woman and a toddler before turning the gun on himself. That shooting happened yesterday just after 3 p.m. KPRC2's Joy Addison joining us live from the Conroe Police Department with the latest in that investigation this afternoon. Joy?
That's right. Well, what we know so far are some new discoveries that police have given us today. The identification of these victims. It's such a tragic turn of events, and neighbors say they're shocked. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office confirms that 52-year-old Salvador Ramirez shot and killed 39-year-old Maria Ramirez and their 3-year-old son before turning the gun on himself.
I live here 20 years and everything has been good, okay.
Let's stop it for a second. This I can never understand, but I don't understand. No matter what you're going through, because we've talked about some very serious things before. I can never understand how you want to take your own wife or a girlfriend, a baby mama, and child's life and then kill yourself. Like, I understand you want to end your own life, but you want to take your family with you? Maybe you think that life is going to be too hard without you, but at that point, why are you trying to end your life? There's a lot of things I don't understand, but let's keep going.
Not noisy, nothing, but it's kind of sad too, to hear about it.
The tragic incident happening at a rural home with a long private driveway off of Crystal Creek Road in Conroe. Police say a family member found the 3 dead on their front porch and called police. Deputies arrived around 4 p.m. and found all 3 with gunshot wounds. There was a pistol at the scene. Investigators say there have been previous calls to the residents for trespassing and other miscellaneous complaints, but none connected to family violence issues. Neighbors say they believe the family moved into the house recently and say they don't know anyone killed in the shooting.
This is a tragic event. It will shock people's conscience to see this kind of thing happening in our community, and that our thoughts and prayers are with the family members, especially those that have discovered this horrible incident.
Now, investigators are still working to learn what led to these tragic events that happened yesterday here in Conroe. Reporting from the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Joy Addison, KPRC 2 News.
Really disturbing death investigation out that way. Joy Addison, thank you for the latest.
I can't imagine. You end up, a family member finds your body. Now, as they mentioned before, 3 people were killed. Let's go over into this so we can recap everything that we learned. So 3 people killed, including a child, were found dead outside of their home near Conroe on Sunday. On Thursday. What am I reading? On Thursday, and what authorities calling an apparent murder-suicide. It happened at a home near Crystal Creek around 3:45. When deputies responded, they found the body of Maria Ramirez, 39, Salvador Ramirez, 52, and a 3-year-old boy just outside the home. According to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, early indications said that they were killed in a double murder-suicide. It's a tragic event. It shocks people's consciousness to see what happens in the community, in our community. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family members. 3 people. I want to know what they're going through. Were they struggling through financial issues? Because we talked about that before. If you go back and watch the family that the mother ended up killing herself, her husband and child, in San Francisco over financial issues. It's a crazy world we live in. I think that life gets hard sometimes. Yes, I think life gets hard sometimes. But I believe we have to fight to make it better. It's an absolutely tragic situation. We got to pray for the family member who found her, because that's got to be a tragic situation. They're going to need to get some counseling. Talk about that. Because finding them, just going over to visit, and you just find them dead. I can't imagine the shot. Can't imagine the shot. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know. Do you have any ideas? I'll look around to see if I can find any information about what they release. Hopefully they tell us what they were going through, because that is the main thing. At the end of the world, if you're going through something, please talk to somebody. Please. Absolute tragic. Absolute tragic. It's a crazy world we live in, but we got to keep reviewing the world together. We have to keep reviewing the world together, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now let's pivot. So, talked about a murder-suicide. Now we're going to go over into 83 people have been arrested on outstanding, let's get rid of that, on outstanding domestic violence warrants. Domestic violence warrants. 83 people have been arrested. So we got 2 videos to look at that. So let's get over into it and see what this whole situation is about. Domestic violence. 83 outstanding warrants. They were all arrested. Let's get into it.
A major dragnet in Maryland, several agencies, including Prince George's County's Sheriff's Department, arresting nearly 100 suspects wanted for domestic violence-related crimes. DC News Now's Tim Reed has more on the crackdown.
Sheriff John Carr is calling this a very successful operation, arresting 83 people with outstanding warrants for domestic violence. Carr says he's sending a message his department will not tolerate these crimes.
My mother was a victim of domestic violence through her first marriage.
Kimberly Smith Blocker is glad to see law enforcement cracking down and putting domestic violence suspects in jail. It's personal for her because her mother is a domestic violence survivor.
It's unfortunate that when it comes to that particular violence, that where it is truly one that is a badge of shame, it's a badge of silence. And so the more that we're able to bring that to attention, the more that we're able to show that there are consequences for those actions.
83 people were arrested during a recent domestic violence warrant operation conducted by the Sheriff's Department.
For the month of October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we want to send that message out about 1, education, 2, about providing those resources, and 3, actually apprehending those offenders.
All those taken into custody were wanted for both violent and non-violent offenses.
So were they not just going after them in the first place? Why did it take this whole scandal? Were they just in one big bust, they arrest 83 people for domestic? They should have been arresting them. Come on now. Domestic, and see, I disagree with domestic violence on either side. Either side's man or woman. Nobody should put their hands on nobody. Women shouldn't put their hands on a man, and a man shouldn't put their hands on a woman. How is that a healthy relationship when we solve our problems with physical violence? What are we, children? Are we children? Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going.
The crackdown was supported by state police and Prince George's County officers.
We actually go out at nighttime, and this will be in the middle of the night. We start around 10 o'clock or so, and we go up until maybe 8, 9 o'clock so that we can make sure that we catch those offenders at home.
The sheriff says his department is planning more operations like this one in the near future. In Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.
Absolutely crazy. I'm happy that people are being arrested. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can find out.
Tonight, we are learning more about a major operation that led to the arrest of dozens of people with outstanding warrants for domestic violence. Our Alexis Wainwright shows us what it took to bring them in and the impact this roundup will have on families in Prince George's County.
83 people arrested across Prince George's County.
It is something that is extensive.
One late October night, over 150 sworn deputies and officers helped round up suspects wanted on outstanding warrants.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out.
Sheriff John Carr leading this growing operation.
We're starting to bring in other partners outside of Prince George's County. We're starting to make sure that that awareness is going throughout the state. So you're looking at sexual assaults, second-degree assaults, first-degree assaults. So it is very dangerous. Even though we were arresting some of our women, because men are abused as well, which I think isn't highlighted enough.
The warrant roundup targeted 195 people across Maryland.
I could be here in Prince George's, I can abuse somebody, but then I may move to Howard.
Days after the sweep, people are still turning themselves in.
Even over the weekend, we're still getting folks to come in. So we will be updating consistently of those individuals that we were looking for. We'll be able to apprehend them later on in a different day.
Unfortunately, Prince George's County has had very high numbers as it relates to fatalities over the year.
Yvette Clark with the Progressive Life Center, a family advocacy organization, says operations like this help survivors and families heal.
We need accountability. So many families that we encounter, are afraid. They're having to change their addresses, they're having to change their names.
Sheriff Carr says this sends a firm message to the community.
Domestic violence will not be accepted here in Prince George's County. It also lets those survivors or those who are going through a domestic violence situation know that we care.
In Upper Marlboro, Alexis Wainwright, WUSA 9.
100% correct. 100% correct. You can't, doesn't matter man or woman, you cannot tolerate any kind of domestic violence. You cannot tolerate any kind of domestic violence. Got to round them up. I'm happy that they're rounding them up. So it is good to see. I wonder why it took them so long to actually start going after the warrants or people who had outstanding warrants. Maybe they just needed more help. Absolutely crazy situation. It's an absolutely crazy situation. Now let's pivot. We're going to pivot over into the last thing we're going to talk about today. The very last thing. It looks like measles, the highest number of measles cases since 1992, what the CDC says. So let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation. I will never understand. I will never understand why people don't want to get their children vaccinated against the measles. Like, I can understand why people were upset or confused about the COVID vaccine since it came out so quickly, but measles? A lot of crazy things, but it is their right to do what they want with their child. It's their right. But we got to protect the rest of the people around. But let's get into it. Let's get into it and see what all this is about. And see what we can learn from this whole situation.
Reported in the Southwest, officials say more than 100 people have been infected in Arizona and Utah since August. The cases have mainly been clustered in areas with low vaccination rates. Southwest Utah has seen more than 40 cases, and in Arizona, a county that had no measles cases reported in the last 2 years has had 80 infections. This is all contributing to the 34-year high in U.S. measles cases.
Hold on, let's back that up. He said something good. Let's go back and let's hear it one more time.
The cases have mainly been clustered in areas with low vaccination rates. Southwest Utah has seen more than 40 cases, and in Arizona, a county that had no measles cases reported in the last 2 years has had 80 infections. This is all contributing to the 34-year high in U.S. measles cases. I want to bring in Dr. William Schaffner. He's a professor of preventative medicine and specializes in infectious diseases at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Doctor, always great to talk to you, although this is really sort of a troubling story. Both outbreaks, as you know, happened along the Utah-Arizona border and in western Texas. They started in rural communities before they spread. What does that indicate to you?
Well, Vlad, it's a very sad story because we shouldn't have any of these measles cases. Measles is a very, very nasty virus. It's spreading among children who have been withheld from vaccination. This is the most contagious virus we know, and when it's introduced into a population, it will spread rapidly among children, among their schoolmates and playmates. It really will make you quite sick for a week or a week and a half with fever, red eyes that are sensitive to light. Children often are kept in a dark room, so their eyes are not affected. They have a runny nose, they have a cough, they feel miserable, they don't like to eat, they can become dehydrated.
So we just not vaccinating our kids for this? Like, I understand people are scared about vaccinations. Some of them are saying that There's a lot of people saying that some of these vaccinations cause autism, but those have been disproven. But come on now. What are we doing? Parents, come on, think, what are we doing? But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
And have diarrhea. And then the complications set in. Middle ear infection, pneumonia, which is more serious and most serious, fortunately not too common, but still very serious, encephalitis, that is swelling of the brain. 1 in 8 of these children are being hospitalized. Who wants to have their children hospitalized? This is a completely preventable infection.
So, I mean, if a parent is watching this and you want to take precautions, what do they need to know about how to protect their children from the measles? And if a child is vaccinated, doctor, and is in contact with the child who's unvaccinated or who even has contracted measles, is that child, the vaccinated child, protected?
Well, the vaccine, if you get the 2 recommended doses, is about 97 to 98% effective in completely preventing the disease. There are a few so-called breakthrough infections, but even then, they're much milder. And of course, I always say, don't listen to Dr. Bill. Talk to your own healthcare provider, your doctor, your family doctor, your pediatrician, the physician's assistant or advanced practice nurse who takes care of your family. Have a conversation with them about this. It's so important to prevent this disease. We're having smaller outbreaks in many other states now, and our status of measles elimination is now under threat.
And finally, what about adults? I mean, if a child, if an adult contracts the measles, I mean, I know oftentimes certain infectious diseases that are relatively mild for children can have a really significant impact on adults. What's the case here?
Well, I've already told you measles is not mild in children. It's a nasty infection, and it gets nastier for adults. Adults are much more likely to have the complications, particularly of pneumonia. And that's one that'll take you right into the intensive care unit.
Wow. I mean, we just had our daughter vaccinated. And I used to work in Africa when I was a foreign correspondent, and I would meet people who had, for example, in the time that I was living in Lagos, Nigeria was still one of only 3 countries in the world that still had polio. And the people there would just say to me how lucky I was to have been born in the United States, where we had a government that ensured that its citizens were properly vaccinated. And now Nigeria has eradicated polio, but I'll never forget walking into some villages and seeing children that had been deformed by this horrible disease, and just them saying to me that how lucky I was to be the chance that I was born in the U.S. It's really terrible. Doctor, thank you for your insight, sir. Appreciate you.
Absolutely crazy situation. Tell me your thoughts, y'all. How do you feel about that? Like I said, I don't understand. There's some, I can understand why some people were worried about the COVID-19 vaccinations, but measles, stuff like that stuff that can be totally preventable. Then you want to bring your kid out with other kids saying that they should be treated normally just because you decided on your own that your kid's life is going to be different because you decided not to get them vaccinated. And you have to, it's a crazy situation. But the majority of these cases are happening in unvaccinated areas. People who, in the areas where people just don't get vaccinations. And it's going to keep happening till we bring awareness to this. Absolutely tragic situation. Absolutely tragic. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But measles cases have reached the highest numbers since 1992. More people are not getting vaccinated. More people are not getting their children vaccinated. More people aren't going to the doctors and hospitals to get checks up on themselves. We got to do our health a service. We have to be prepared for the future. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on any of that. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Now, that is the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. Thank you for watching when I break down these videos. Remember, at the end of the day, we got to review the world together, y'all. We have to review the world together. Yeah, now, like I always say, if you disagree with anything I said, please let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. My ears are open to have discussions. I'm not one of those people who just only want to hear one thought. Tell me your thoughts and I'll tell you my thoughts. If I think I'm wrong about something, I'll tell you. If I need to do more research on something, I'll tell you that as well. At the end of the day, everybody go do your own research. There are things that you can't just listen to. Just like when that doctor said, don't just listen to him about it. Go talk to your family doctor. Don't just listen to me about these things. Go do your own research about it. Look them up. We need to review the world together. If you have something you want to talk about, please send it over to my email. It's acreviewstheworld@gmail.com at dot after the A and a dot after the C. The world needs for us to review it together. The world needs us to have more discussions about things. And then the world needs us not to get angry when someone has a different opinion than us. We need to just talk about it. If we can't come to a common understanding, that's fine. You have your opinions, I have mine. But at the end of the day, at least we try to talk about them and discuss them, politic about it. At the end of the day, it's a crazy world we live in. We got to review it together. Thank y'all all for watching again. You already know I got to play the outro. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I will see y'all back on Tuesday. These videos will be broken down. Thank you for all who tuned in today. Peace.